Alright, welcome to my weekly watch list. We're going to start off things a little bit different today. We're going to go over the markets, the indices first. We'll do some trade recaps, and then we'll look at the weekly watch list. Not as many names as last time, but nonetheless, we do have some trade setups we can take a look at. So first off, looking at the Qs, we've been in a massive uptrend since the COVID lows. Consolidated between these few months for a little bit and have been in an uptrend ever since then. Have yet to close below the 20-day until this Friday. So typically we've been faked out most of the time. Every single time we dip down, we get bought up, BTFD. This time seems to be a little bit different. There's weakness more across the board than just FANG. Looks like we were trying to take out these highs and demand just never came in to eat up some of these higher price levels. So what I mean by that is if you're going to go up, you want demand to come in at these higher price levels. You want people to say, I'm willing to buy the Qs at these levels. And so far, it looks like we may be looking for a little bit of a pullback here. I mean, we've gone up a ridiculous amount, so some consolidation or pullback is very, very healthy. So nothing to worry about so far. Just looks like we're potentially going to do a pullback. SPYs a little bit stronger here, but same story. Strength since COVID low. Consolidation here in these few months broke out. Riding the 20-day moving average. We did close below it back here, but remained above it on Friday. So similar to Qs, let's see how we handle Tuesday. Monday is closed due to Martin Luther King, so Tuesday will be our first day. If we can maintain price over the 20-day over a few candles, then look for this uptrend to remain intact. IWM, a little bit different story here. Since COVID lows, this thing has just been ripping. And you see that with all the small cap names making 10, 20, 30, 40% moves. We gapped up here on this date on the 6th on Wednesday. So far have been making a little bit of an accelerated move. Did have, I believe, almost a 2% up day here on Thursday. We did try to go above the low or above the high here or above the close here. Fortunately, never did. Demand never came in. Did end up closing below Thursday's candle. So we'll see if we can maybe do a pullback to the 20-day. That would be pretty healthy for the market. But overall, both Qs, SPYs, and including the IWM, everything seems to look relatively healthy with maybe a pullback potentially coming. Alright, so let's do a little bit of a trade recap here. Last week I mentioned GOGO. We're looking at this massive move here with a sideways flag. I did end up entering. So I entered around 10 o'clock here, Eastern time, around the 1089 level. Prematurely took some off the following day. This is sort of the big issue for me in trading is I tend to take winners off rather quickly. The strategy should be, well, at least my strategy is to wait till there's 8% move, take a quarter to a half off, or watch for pivots being made and take the entire position off at that point, or ride the 9 EMA. That's another option. So in this case, I should not have taken any off until I hit my first target, which would have been 8%, 9%, which theoretically would be somewhere in this range right here. But going back to the actual trade, I entered full, took some off here, and then took the rest of it off in this area. And I actually took it off as we were going up, so I did miss this entire move up here. It wasn't the case where this was actually coming down and then I decided to take off. So again, I need to create a better strategy where I hold. What they say is typically just not look at the screen, not look at your positions, put in a stop loss and let it ride. If I were to have a position, the stop loss definitely could have been right here below this low, especially for something that sort of went parabolic. We're looking at almost above this pivot right here, above this high, we're looking at almost 20% move, 30% move. So pretty significant move here. Did capture a good chunk of it. Definitely am happy with the trade, but could have left a lot on the table. A lot on the table. Next one, Corsair Gaming. So we entered on Monday at this level right here, this 41.20-ish level. It had almost an inside day here. I think we may have taken out the highs, 42.40, 42.20. So yeah, we did take out the highs here on this date. Did hold, even held on this day. We were above the 9 EMA, above the 20-day. No reason to sell. And then we went below the low. There was some weakness in other names. Weakness a little bit in the market, so decided to take it off. Again, this actually goes against what my strategy is because I should be holding if we're holding the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. So we'll have to dive into this one to understand how to better position size so that when the position is in, I'm letting it ride versus taking it off too early. Again, obviously this one was going against us, so I did take it off. It did end up being in my favor, but still did not follow the strategy. I will say though, this one is probably still on our watch list, especially if the 58 MA is coming upwards. Maybe we can get a little bit of a tap here and then can break up from there. Next one, NVDA. I entered at 5.52 on Monday. We had almost an inside candle here, did dip below the low, but remained to stay over the anchored VWAP. Then did have an inside day candle, and my stop loss wasn't actually below these lows, so unfortunately I did give a little bit more back than I wanted to, so I closed out somewhere in this 532 level. So some trades just go against you, and this is one of those. Lessons learned, probably should have waited for the 20 MA to cross over the 50 MA, but I think overall it's a pretty good entry. The exit or the stop loss could have been a little bit better. TLRY, I mentioned this in the first video. Wheat stocks are going to be the sector you want to be in 2021. It sort of already has taken way off. I had a first swing here, had taken it off in this area, entered on Monday above this little pivot, and actually held for a few days, but took off my entire position at this 1575 level. I think I did book a good 20% here. Wow, good 30%, so super excited for that. TLRY has been by far my biggest winner in 2021 already, so happy to follow this one, see how this one goes, see hopefully we can get some pullback and get some entries there. But again, going back to strategy, right, there should be a process in place where I don't take profits off yet, or I take my 8 to 9% profit and let the rest ride, right? Because this, from my entry point, has gone up almost 94%. That can make people's years. That could have made my year if I was in it. So I need to get better at just holding. Letting my average hold time get up to that 7, 10, 12, 13 day period. So a lot to learn from this one here, even though it was a pretty good winner. All right, Uber. So Uber's an interesting one. I played it sort of back here for a little bit. and then had seen this sort of rise and consolidate. We did break out here, pull back, and had a pretty healthy pullback, right to the 20-day. And then on Monday morning, I usually look at the bar charts gappers and noticed that Uber was on that gapping list, and so I took it pre-market. I felt the risk was pretty good for me. Only probably risked 20-30 cents for all-time highs, which theoretically can go 10, 20, 30%. So I entered pre-market here. Again, something in me ended up taking it off prematurely and did miss out on some gains here, which is probably another 2 to 3%. Let's see if we zoom in here. Yeah, about 2 to 3%. But would have probably gotten stopped out here anyway, so no biggie. Next one, Smile Direct. Another one I think I entered on Tuesday. So on the Friday previous, we closed above the 20-day moving average and above the anchored VWAP, had an inside day, entered on the pivot breakout with probably a stop, I believe. I may have put below this low here. And the following day on the Wednesday was working really well. I think we had gapped up, was hoping for it to start reaching these $13, $14 levels, but unfortunately it gapped and just faded the entire day. And then once it got below the 20-day, I just decided to take it out. All the other positions were going south. It just felt like something was off. Alright, so that's some of the trades that I took. Let's get into the watch list for this week. SLQT, back to the IPO names here. So we got an anchor VWAP I'll place. Nice base forming, price above, held the 50-day, now holding the 20-day and the anchor VWAP. We'll need price to get over about around this range. This looks like an area where demand needs to really come in to eat up some of the supply. I do like just the way we're forming here. Made a low, we pierced below this low and just rocketed up, and then are making a higher low here, and then hopefully we can break out this level. So keep an eye out for SLQT. Next one, Facebook. So the move looks like it's already happened here. Let me turn on the 200-day. The short move looks like it's already happened here, but something just to keep an eye out for. It's starting to get into this breakout level that we had back here. Starting to get back into that range. We're starting to get back to the 200-day, which is really shocking for Facebook to be at the 200-day. A little bit of volumes coming in. I don't know if we get a little bit of a bounce and then we sell off. I'm not quite sure, but this one's probably going to indicate, or FANG in general is probably going to indicate which way we end up going. Next one, Home Depot. Home Depot looking great, bounced off COVID lows and has just been going sideways for a little bit, and we're starting to get some volume, starting to make some, let's see if this is, yeah, that's the one. So we're starting to make some higher lows. You see we made a low right here, made a higher low, and did end up taking out the high here, and we're starting to consolidate above. So if we can get over maybe the 276 range, watch for Home Depot to at least get back to highs. Home Depot actually looks very similar to eBay, so let me just show eBay real quick. You can see similar, just consolidation, and then held some of these MAs and then broke out. I did not end up taking a position here, but expect a similar move to eBay in Home Depot if we can clear these levels here in this 276 range. Next one, VRT. So VRT was interesting for me because of these big green volume bars. It's a pretty good sign for accumulation. Let's put some anchored VWAPs here. So we can see on actually all of last week we had increasing volume. I don't like the fact that we had decreasing volume on a big bullish bar, but maybe if we can have a few inside day candles or a little bit of consolidation, watch for VRT to potentially take off into new highs here. DADA, I had a swing on this previously, no longer have that. But this is one that made a massive move. I mean, we're talking about, I think, 100% move or almost, what is this, 70-80% move in a few days. So it's nice to see it consolidate, and now we're starting to get over all the moving averages, consolidating a little bit. Let's see if we can get over some of these levels here, some of these $44 level. If we can get over the $44 level, then we can maybe get back to this pivot area around this 53.82 level. So DADA, watch for that one. TDY, Teledyne Technologies. The only thing here that I thought was interesting is that we're right peaking at highs here. Look at that, we tapped 1, 2, didn't get there. If we were back in this time frame and noticed that we didn't get back to this level, should have been a sign that demand's just not coming in at these higher price levels. There's a pullback coming, and that's exactly what happened. And now we're tapping, didn't happen here, pulled back, didn't really happen here, so let's keep an eye out for this one. If we can get over this high right here of 393, then we can have some new highs in Teledyne Technologies. AMWL, recent IPO, basing, perked up on Thursday and even on Friday with nice volume here over the anchored VWAP. Tried to get over this recent high here, so that's probably where you want to take a look at. Let's draw our areas of interest. Probably even maybe move it up here. Would be nice if we can let the MAs and EMAs catch up a little bit, consolidate underneath this 30.57 level for a few days. If we can do that, let it look constructive, then we can hopefully take out this high here and move out of this IPO base that we're making. RVMD, very similar to Teledyne. Bit of a high here that we've seen in the entire history of this stock here. Attempted to break out here, attempted to break out here, both times failed, and subsequently pulled back. Let's see if this time it can change course a little bit. The anchored VWAP is way below at this point, so that's a pretty good sign that demand is coming in at these higher levels compared to the VWAP. So there's people wanting to buy this one. Hopefully the market cooperates. We can get above the 20-day. I would see an entry here if we can get above this 4162 level. I'd see this as a potential candidate for entry here, so keep an eye out for RVMD. TLRY, I believe we may have had this on our watch list, did not enter, unfortunately. But look at this nice move up here, big volume, and now just consolidating. Would have been nice to see the 20-day catch up a little bit more, but I believe the 9 EMA is probably pretty close to some of these levels. So keep an eye for TLRY to take out 232 level. Let's take a look at when earnings is real quick. Earnings date, February 24th. So we do have some time here. We can maybe make a pre-earnings breakout here. So keep an eye out for TeleDoc. This one was on our watch list, gapped up massively. Was thinking about taking that pre-market, but it was already in this 1240 range. Something just told me not to take it, but we're setting up beautifully here, consolidating right at these highs. So let's see, let's get maybe a day or two. But you know, even if on Tuesday we can pivot over this high of 1239, then that can be an entry for all-time high. So keep an eye out for this one. VGAC. Dynatrace, a software company, been eyeing this one for a little bit. Nice sideways move, dipped down to the 200-day. Was relatively weaker than the entire market. You can sort of tell down with the RSI. I think the market was going up or maybe sideways while this one was down, dipping a little bit. But now we're rubbing up at these highs, and if we can get demand come in and we can break above these levels, watch for this one to really take off here. So I like it above 44.38. DOCU, this also may have been one that we discussed. Did take off on Tuesday. Nice little pullback. Just watch for a pivot right here. If we get above 257, let it go. PEGA, another one that's just tapping these highs here. It's nice little move, nice little consolidation. This one's going one way or another. If the market pulls, you might get a breakdown, but if the market shows some strength, or if PEGA decides to show some relative strength, and we can take out these 135 level, pretty good risk level right here. You can put your stop down on this 131, and you can look for all-time highs here on PEGA, software company. Just a few more left. Mondelez, something about this one made me keep it on the list. It's below the MAs, but seems to be consolidating down here. Could just be a little bit of a bear flag. Maybe if we go down to the smaller time frames, might show a little bit clearer. Not really, but just one. It's more of a gut feeling type of one. We are at highs and has been tapping for a little bit, so keep an eye out for that one. NTR IPO'd back in 2018, so not as recent, but check out this move. Check out this pop. Popped, dipped right to the anchored VWAP, consolidated, and has been popping. The 9 EMA has caught up. It's on the other chart, but trust me. If we can take out these highs, then let's see some continuation to all-time highs for this. So that's NTR, and last one on the list, XP. So XP, another IPO. We broke above the IPO, or the anchored VWAP at IPO date at this level, took off, and really just been consolidating since then. I'm sure earnings are probably coming up soon, but nice little pinch. I would actually take a look at this even before we get to this level. Maybe we can get a little bit of a move up here, take off a bit of your position, and then let the rest ride. But I guess XP is probably indicates the lack of setups here. If I'm looking at a little bit of a pinch here, it's not the best setup, but something tells me it could be one to keep an eye out for. So that's what I'm looking at for the week of January 19th. Remember, it's Martin Luther King Day on Monday, so markets are closed on the 18th. And that's all I got. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Thanks.